Hi guys, it's me, Carrie Silver Lining Mena, and I am here to debut my new show called Silver Linings, in which I try to find silver linings. This show actually, I don't really have a concrete plan for it. My plan is to be consistently inconsistent, and I will have all kinds of guests, all kinds of topics, mostly spiritual, metaphysical shit, but who knows? You just never know with me. And I also plan on having a few solos because, I like to make things all about me. But today, I'm going to have my friend Sara Kujawa on the show. And she is a Reiki healer. She also does readings. And her specialty is, just as her Facebook group is titled, her specialty is doing grief differently. She lost her son about the same time as I started my healing journey. We did it in completely different ways, different catalysts and circumstances, but kind of on the same timeline. So we were a real good support system for one another, and I often thank the universe for bringing us together and making our friendship so easy and convenient. But the truth is, I gotta give her and me credit. Our higher selves did a good job with that. So thanks, you too. You're done good. So if you are interested in a reading or a Reiki session with Sara, you can reach her at sarakujawa.com. or check out our Facebook page. And today we're going to talk about finding silver linings, as I said before, and she's going to talk a little bit, we're going to discuss how to recreate your past and kind of heal those old hurts that you've suffered from a long time ago. There are a few glitches in the videos. That's because it's me doing it, and that seems to be a prerequisite. But I'm okay. I can deal with it. I'm going to let that shit roll. And this is my first solo endeavor, and I don't really know how to edit. So bear with me while I learn. This is going to be a work in progress. So it's going to be choppy and messy at first. And I invite any of you to offer to create like a fancy intro for me. Or that's pretty cute. I mean, that was like a quickie, but look how cute that ended up being. But I welcome any art. I welcome any kind of graphics or anything that you've got to offer me because I'm such a novice. But I don't think that stuff's important. I think the important part is the content. But just in case you are not charmed by me, I brought my co-host who is sure to win your heart. You ready for this? I'm going to cast a spell on you, a love spell. I'm going to cast a puppy love spell on you. Oh, she's so sleepy. Go to sleep, baby. Look at that little baby. She's so cute. I'm so in love with this little pup. All right, now that I have cast my spells and you belong to me, let me go ahead and get started. Wait, one more look. Oh, okay, ready? Here we go. What Sara got for me. Silver Linings, Sara Kujawa, episode 1, take 1, and action. Thanks, guys. I hope you like it. Subscribe to my channel and share my shit around, will ya? Thanks. All right, so here we go. We are in Wayne's basement.
Yeah, we're in the stellar cellar.
The stellar cellar. Excellent. Party time. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna go on an adventure today. And we thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and wear our prison stripes so that when we get in trouble, we'll be already ready for the coppers.
That's right.
So that's what the fashion faux pas is going on here.
I'm wearing a white shirt with black stripes, and she's wearing a black shirt with white stripes.
Yeah, so it's a little different. It's not the same. Okay, so what we're really doing right here, right now, is we are in Colorado. We came up here to have a little mini CE meetup. You may have seen the pictures a while back. And it was really nice. There were about 12 to 15 of us that met up for the day. And we're also here to revisit and just sort of go through, oh gosh, don't look at me, I'm gonna cry. We're in Colorado where Sarah's son Adam passed. And she swore she'd never come back, but here she is because she is the master of doing grief differently. And she wanted to conquer that pain and that fear and push through it and move on. So I'm really proud. And I'm honored to be the friend that she chose to do this with.
Thank you, Carrie.
And we're going to go to a city called Colorado Springs today. And out there is a place called Garden of the Gods. And while I'm out there, I'm going to attempt to try something new.
And what I'd like to do is, there are rumors going around that I'm going to start my own show. And I'm here to tell you the rumors are true because I started them. And what I'd like to do is, I'm told in my future there will be much traveling, and I'd like to incorporate my travels in my show. So today when we're out and about, I'm going to ask Sara to find some silver linings and what that means to her. But for now, I'm going to turn this over to Sara and see if you've had...
Oh my gosh.
I know. You don't have to think or, come up with anything clever right now. This is just an introduction, and just if you want to say anything about the day yesterday or our travels today.
Oh, well, thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Carrie and I always have a great time when we're together, so I knew that she was the perfect choice for me to kind of like coerce and come up with this great plan, last-minute plan to come to Colorado. So we had the CE meetup, which is part of the Channeling Eric members that live in the Denver area. We all met up at Louise's house, and we had a great time just hanging out, laughing and sharing and just being silly. So it was a fun-filled day, full of great people and great air. So it was
right,
great air.
The air is definitely different here than it is
much
in Texas.
less humid. That's much less humid. So the venture today, going to Colorado Springs. I have lots of beautiful memories of Colorado Springs and of Denver. With when the kids were young, from skiing trips to figure skating competitions. And then when my son's accident occurred in January 2014, it kind of like wiped the slate clean. I vowed I'd never come back. We came up and spent several days to prepare Adam to bring his body back home to Houston. So we spent many days in Colorado Springs, cocooned in a hotel. And we're going to go back and revisit the town and create some new memories to fill those voids that are in my chakra system.
That just gave me inspiration because somebody recently, in fact, we saw her yesterday, was Peggy. Peggy Sue Foster messaged me recently and asked about how to change your past. And the way I understood it was you don't necessarily change your past, but you go back and recreate your attitudes about it. You find your silver linings. And so you recreate your filters about the whole situation and your take on it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're about to change Sara's past.
And I might change my shirt.
Right.
Go walking out of the street.
She's going to send me to the slammer by myself. All right, so I don't know. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with this video because I have no idea how to edit stuff. So my original plan was to tack it on to my new show, but maybe I'll just go ahead and release it sooner than that and get you guys all excited about the new things going on, and we can go ahead and just let everybody know right away how appreciative we are of this time and that we get to share it with you guys too. And we hope that through us, you will learn to find your own silver linings and recreate your past as well. All right.
That sounds great.
All right. Let's go get some breakfast. I'm hungry.
Yes.
Let's go eat some carbs. Just kidding. No. Okay, guys. We love you. Goodbye. Hi, guys.
Hi. Here we are, Carrie and Sara, and we just did our whole day here in Colorado Springs. And as you recall from the previous little segment we came out to find some silver linings for Sara, who is here to kind of revisit the places that that caused her some pain and grief, so that she can recreate some memories for herself. And it was a really nice day. I'm going to let her go ahead and get started, and I'll put my 2 cents in just a little bit. So, Sara, tell us a little bit about what we did today and the sinks that followed us around and all that stuff.
Sinks all day. So I love my numbers. 22 and multiple 2s have been following me since I was a little girl, and it's been having even more importance on me since Adam has passed, because my life path number is 11, my husband's is 22, and so even with him, he has all of these cool things about 11s and 22s before even Adam passed. But today's been full of course, beautiful mountain air on top of everything else, and visiting Garden of the Gods, Manitou Springs, Colorado Springs, and Colorado Springs is a beautiful city where I have wonderful memories there. And then
well, why do you have wonderful memories? Just to take her daughter skating,
regional ice skating competitions when she was young. So that's like, the training center for U.S. figure skating. It's in,
and when she would come here with her daughter, they would stay at a specific hotel
over the Doubletree, which is just about. There's about 4 or 5 hotels that surround right by the skating rink, but there's obviously hotels everywhere. So the DoubleTree has great memories, and the free chocolate chip cookies. Free chocolate chip cookies. So when my son's accident happened on the night of January 9th, we were notified the following morning, and my son's company flew us to Colorado Springs so we could bring Adam's body back home. Well, it was all lined up, divinely lined up. You know, my son's boss arranged for us to have a hotel when we arrived in Colorado Springs, and he picked us up from the airport. And so just even flying into the airport, going by the skating rink, it just brought a flood of all these memories. I'm thinking almost like deja vu, but it was the opposite effect on my emotions. We pull up to the hotel. It's the same hotel we just stayed at a few years prior to for a skating competition.
That's a
same
little
DoubleTree.
Sinky Sarah.
Same DoubleTree hotel. So we visited. Carrie took me by there today, and we walked around, and they've done some remodeling, so it wasn't exactly the same as how I remembered it. So kind of got to feel
Recreating that memory too.
We wrote that past. The hotel doesn't look exactly the same. The pond is still in the back. We visited the pond, and that is where I would sit and just talk to Adam. This a couple days after he had passed. I would go and just sit and meditate out by the pond, and ask him where he's at. I wasn't getting messages yet. That wasn't until a few months later. But so I took Carrie there. We sat down on those same rocks, and then she turned around. She goes, "Look," and she found this beautiful feather right by the big rock that I had sat at 4.5 years ago.
And Sarah is a big collector of feathers, and she will stop at nothing to get a feather.
Right,
Remember Vegas?
I'll stop in the middle of a busy road.
She really
pick up that feather.
And so, so where else did we go?
Garden of the Gods.
No, where else did we go? We went and saw we went to Shelby's.
I went to the funeral home, yeah.
To the funeral home.
And even finding actually from the coroner to the funeral home during that whole fiasco, I had lots of synchronicities to lead me to the right funeral home for the coroner to take Adam's body to. So we went by there, took a photo. We decided it looked more like a Chinese restaurant now instead of a funeral home.
It really did.
So that kind of lifted my spirits with it. And Adam was with us the whole time. He was in the back seat, cutting up and some kind of really crazy off-the-wall jokes that
inappropriate.
Very inappropriate jokes.
And I am a big fan of inappropriate. And I really appreciate, and because Sarah is on an accelerated path to healing. She has healed. There's always a work in progress.
Moments now and then.
But there's so much, she's such an inspiration to many. And that's one of the reasons why we could be inappropriate today. She understands that death is not the end, that Adam has just left his physical body, but he's still with us. He's here right now. And Adam, I invite you to, put some sparkles and orbs in our little video if you want. But as we were driving, we did the tour of the day, the horrible week that she had to suffer with her family and then her husband. And then as we're driving towards our next destination, we were going to go back to the Garden of the Gods. And I was just complimenting her on how proud I am of her to be able to be in the place that she's at. Because I know that there are so many parents and just anybody, not just parents, but people that have lost loved ones that get trapped in that grief. And here she is in a place that she swore she'd never come back to. And she's visiting all of these, places with all these sad, sad memories and having a good time doing it and finding ways to appreciate and recreate. And so I'm always so impressed with her, and I gotta give you a hug because you're just so.
I love you.
Oh, she's so shiny. So now we did go to the Garden of the Gods, and there were these people that kept going up this dirt road. I'm like, I gotta go up that dirt road. I gotta go.
No signs, but we got on it.
Yeah, I didn't care. I had to go. They're in their Jeeps and their 4-wheel drives, but I got my Ford Focus.
And that was about 70 minutes ago, and so
we're still climbing up the mountain, up the dirt road. We don't know when it's gonna end.
I think it's Green Mountain or something. We can't on the GPS. It just shows a blue dot. That's it.
So we don't really know. We're just going to, hope that the gods get us down safely before nightfall. You can see it's getting a little dark now.
Adam said he has night vision.
Okay, Adam will get us there. We're going to stay in the vibration that we will make it home safe. So, I got some flowers. Is this from you or from Adam? Is he wooing me?
Actually from Adam.
Oh, thanks, big boy. All right, you guys. So thank you for watching this, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I do believe that this is my first installment of what should I call it? Silver Linings Journeys. I'm not sure, but I think I mentioned before, I want to travel around the world and incorporate my show with my travels and
And check out my Facebook group that I do with Adam.
Doing Grief Differently.
With Adam and Sarah.
If you want to
close Facebook group.
You find out her story and about how she does do grief differently, what happened to Adam and how she dealt with it, and really you will find inspiration from her too. Okay, you guys, thank you.
Thank you.
See you at the bottom of the mountain, maybe, hopefully.
All right, we're starting official now. Okay, so we had to do a little quick preparation, and I've already done my first intro, and I think we already have an intro from our other video, so let's do a third intro. Hi guys, here it is, Silver Linings with me and my first guest, Sarah. And as I noted a little bit ago, we are going to talk about recreating your past and finding silver linings. And we haven't really practiced at all. We're just going to pretend like, I don't know if you're prepared. We're just going to pretend like we're out having coffee, right? Oh, you got the same mug. Yours just says, damn.
Oh, yeah. Here.
Okay, so we got our coffee, and I got my sparkle water. Okay, we're set. Okay, so what we did, we went on a little adventure back in December. We already have another, not December, in Denver in September. And I'm not going to really go over that too much because it's self-explanatory and we already did it. But what we were doing is learning how to kind of go back and recreate our past. And even though we've already said it, Sarah, it can always like morph into a new topic and go on and on. You know how discussions are. So I'll go ahead and start because this one's been on my mind since we did that video. I have a past, I'm always busting out with my personal shit, but I have a past that I really like to recreate. And I'll talk about this in more depth one day because I want to kind of explain my life, not my life story, but my healing journey. And it started off with a twin flame or twin vibration relationship with Michael, who is part of my soul group. And this is nothing on him. This is all me. But because I was in such a fucked up place and so sad and healing, I did all my healing on him, and he represented the fucked up shit that I had to deal with my mom. So I redid it and I healed through him. But because it was such a bad time with me, I have a hard time remembering him without it hurting me. And we are in a time of separation right now, but I think a lot about how much I look forward to recreating my relationship with him. I don't want to have, he helped me so much, and I don't want to have like feelings of darkness. So when it's time, I'll be able to, come together with him again and, rediscover him in a new way in the place where I have healed. So I know that that's kind of what we did in Denver was, you revisited your place after you reached a place of healing. So do you have any other instances or anything in which you can remember kind of, shitty and fucked up, but you made it better?
Well, a lot. I got whole books worth. For me, it was recreating. It wasn't recreating per se every event. It was anytime a memory would come up that I was like, ew, I don't want to go there. I knew it was coming up for a reason. So I would just ask and just say, okay, help me see this from a higher perspective, from a broader perspective. Yeah. Show this to me, because obviously it was coming up. It was relevant. It was coming up, even though I thought it was something minor. I mean, it could have been something from grade school, someone hurt your feelings or whatever. And, we've talked about that story before, how I don't like to show my cleavage because I've had issues my whole life about showing my...
I know, me too. I got boob issues too.
But it took me back to when I was little all the way through. So it took me back. So even if one instance comes up and you think you've healed it and looked at it and forgiven yourself, sometimes another instance will come up that's very similar, but it was all connected, because you're not going to get bombarded with every single one. But then you can look back and go, oh yeah, I remember this happened to me when I was 4, again at 8, again at 13. So it just
I wasn't learning from that to learn more about myself.
Yeah. And that, that can go back to the thing up on my kick that I had several months ago about patterns, is that the universe will keep presenting you with an instance until you learn from it, get the lesson that your soul self wanted for you to learn.
Yeah, right. So you can reflect on that in meditation, or I know I do. A lot of clients will come up and say, well, I can't believe this keeps coming up. It's coming up for a bigger reason. And so you can look at it at a different angle or different perspective, third person perspective, because we know if we keep looking at the same scenario, whether it's a relationship or an event, the same way, it drives you crazy. It just drives you crazy.
Those patterns, you got to break them. I used this example a long time ago on Shiny, and my example was that it was like every year, like clockwork, I have this constant battle with my mom. I haven't talked to her in a long time. I don't know when I will. I probably will. My higher self me says that I will want to, and it's probably to recreate and get rid of those old yucky things. But at this point, I have no interest. But every year would be the same thing. We would somehow get into some big blowout, and then we didn't talk all summer, and then Halloween would come around, and I'd have the kids trick or treat at her house, and that would break the ice, and we'd get back together for Thanksgiving. We'd somehow get through Christmas, and then Easter time, we'd have a fight again. This was year after year after year, and I'm like, so I don't really know the exact solution for all of that, but I did break that pattern. I just had to back away from that relationship entirely. I still haven't been, to the recreating parts yet. At least not with her, but I have recreated my own life and my own holidays and things like that. So they have become much more pleasant. Many people suffer, and I'm going to use the word suffer, from crazy holiday times with families.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So you can take this specific example, and if you're doing something that's over and over and over again, and it's like a button to you, you can try to figure out, okay, I'm being presented with this yet again. How can I learn and evolve from this? And then once you learn it and you master it, you're not presented with it anymore. So either you overcome it and learn how to deal with it, or just the universe is like, okay, she doesn't need that lesson anymore. I'm done delivering that to her.
Right, because when you start to try to figure it out, you're wanting the other people involved to see it your way.
Yes.
So you've got to evolve to be able to see it from different perspective.
That is where I'm at right now in my journey too, is seeing, I'm going on and on about my two realities again, but if you appreciate that somebody else doesn't have your same reality, then you're not so hell-bent on making sure they see things your way. All you have to do is learn your lesson from your point of view. Right. It's not important that they get it too.
That's right. That's the most important. It's just you have to figure out, once you have more peace within you, that peace spreads out, and then you can be more compassionate to your other family members or friends in those events.
It's true.
Look back, because you don't know what experiences they've been through. We're our filters, our own experiences.
They have their own truth because they have their own experience, and they have their own filters, and they're legit in their point of view is legit, just as ours is too.
Yeah, just like you and I, we could do something together, but we have different takes on it, and we remember different parts of it too.
That is definitely true. And
you remember those tests you take in school, the comprehension tests, and you'd have to read this paragraph of this story, and then you had to rewrite it. Everyone would rewrite it differently. Everyone would rewrite it differently.
And you know what? I used another example too. I don't know if I was talking to you or where I was. Maybe I was with Carrie. But I said that if you go to like a painting party.
Oh yeah. It was different.
Get hammered and paint the sunflower. Not everybody's sunflower is going to look the same because we have different filters. We see things differently. That's right. Okay. Once we start to learn and appreciate, you don't always have to agree with somebody else, but appreciate that they have a reason for thinking the way they do, and then it won't feel so personal.
Yeah, and I think that's part of getting out and having more experiences, because then you can relate and talk to other people and meet and see and be a part of other people's, culture and dynamics and their take on everything. Because when we stay in our own little circle, you don't see what's out there. Yeah, that was like, I think Heather and I spoke about the flat earth, about if you're only at this perspective, then your flat earth is your truth, because you're not seeing it. Yeah. The bigger perspective. And you touched on that a minute ago, is that when you get that expanded viewpoint, you can see all of the pieces in play. But if you're only looking at it from here, you're going to stay in that small place. Yeah. See the expanded viewpoint. I always say that things on earth don't make sense
I'll go back to my twin relationship with Michael. We did not make sense. It was like, didn't make sense at all. But when you looked at it from here, he was like a perfect match for me. He got me where I needed to be. So you really got to take time to step back, step out, and look from that expanded place. And you said something else a minute ago, too, that was also profound that I think about a lot as a parent. And you were saying that, as a little girl, you had the cleavage thing. And maybe it was like this big. And looking, like if you saw it happen to a little girl now, you wouldn't think it was such a big deal. But it was a big deal to you then, and it affected you.
Yeah.
So much little bullshit as a child that we experience as a child ends up becoming huge baggage, gets dumped on bigger and bigger and bigger. And I had this one. This is just such a little minor thing. And I'm not even mad at my mom by it, but as a little girl, it hurt my feelings so much. But she was vacuuming. And I know she was fearing that when she pulled the vacuum back, she'd hit me in the face. She turned around and snapped at me and said, "Quit following me around." That hurt my little girl feelings so much. I was like 4 years old, and I'm still recalling this story now. So, that was that was like a seed planted on feeling rejected. So I've had like so much work to do.
Right.
One little thing.
Yeah. I can reflect back. But so that's what I did. I would go into all those memories, or they'd be brought up to me, or I just say, okay, bring them to me. What do I need to look at differently? Why do I feel this way now in my life? Mm-hmm. What needs healing? And so it would take me back to something that happened as a child, or, a young boyfriend, girlfriend relationship that, that was so instrumental at the time. Then I see how it set my pattern too.
Yeah.
And it's like, crap.
I love the perspective that we do.
So you just go in there and clean it up and go, you know what? Okay, I saw it from my eyes only. I didn't see it from their perspective. So that really helped me and got me ready. More or less preparation for major adult events that happened in my life, all the way up until Adam passed. So all that helped. But I knew I had to go in there to heal and to recreate and build that new relationship with him, or I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
I know you are. I say it all the time. You are the master of that. I got to give Sarah all the badges, all the trophies. I give my kids invisible badges. All the trophies for just being such a rock star in being able to. You didn't really move past it. You changed it.
I had to change it. And, I know that was part of my life plan. A lot of people will say that, well, that's not part of my journey. Well, if you're inquisitive about it and asking about it, then you are. This is part of your journey.
Yes. And I have a little meme I shared today, and it says something like, why is this happening to me? And it's crossed out, and underneath it says, what can I learn from this experience? Yeah. A huge difference in perspective of feeling like a victim versus feeling like, how I'm going to take this and, grow myself with this.
Yeah. And, and it depends on the person's lifestyle too, because they don't know how to look at a bigger perspective. If they've always been in the me mode, I want to say the me mode, or depending on their field of work, or, where they need proof of everything and, they need to know how everything ticks.
Right.
It's getting back into your feeling mode, dropping into your heart space, living through your heart space.
Yeah,
just go by, use that. Just follow your lead by your feelings.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I've been doing much better about that. And I don't, I kind of surprise myself because of where I'm at. I know that I have a lot of people that pay attention to what I have to say, and I'm a Mac Daddy healer, but I don't mean to sabotage myself, but I don't channel, I don't get messages. But even still, I'm at the very basics, and I want to share this with other people, is that it's such a simple, I may not be channeling a message on what to do and what not to do, but I just go by, if it feels good, I'm going to do it. If it feels shitty and I'm resisting it, stay away. Now, sometimes that resistance is because you fear.
Right. You have to decide if it's fear.
Something.
Right.
But, it's a different thing. You just have to figure it out, because when you have like some big fucking thing you have to do and you don't want to do it, but you have to do it, then you do it. But other things are not like that. And you really need to just listen to your gut and say, I'm not ready to go there. I'm not going to go there. It's not part of my world. You don't have to. So listen to that inner voice. I deviated a little bit, but I'm going to come back a little bit, because you're a mommy too, and your kids are older. So I'm going to try to get some perspective from you, because mine are little, and I'll take some advice. And I just got done talking about that example with my mom and the vacuum. And I think to myself all the time, and I do it in jest because I believe I'm a pretty good mom, but I also know that childhood is the place to get baggage dumped on you so that you can grow and evolve later.
Right.
But I wonder what kind of shit I've dumped on my kids. What have I done? So do you have any, like, do you ever have fears about that? About things that you have done in your past? Do you have regrets, or have you made peace with it, with things, or stuff like that? I know I just put you on the spot for that question. I've lost Sarah. I don't know what happened to her.
Going in and bringing up everything that I felt guilty or something that maybe I could have handled differently with Adam. I had to go back and reflect on that too. It wasn't just my own stuff. It was stuff with motherhood. How did I handle this with Adam? Could I have done it differently? So I had to work through from step one, from birth all the way through, and, but, he told me millions of times since he's crossed that, I was an awesome mom. Even though I cooked cardboard food, meaning healthy, but we didn't have the junk in our house. They called cardboard food. That, our children choose us.
Yeah.
They choose us from the spirit side. So we have to keep that in perspective. That
There's
they
your
can see the
expanded
bigger
viewpoint.
picture.
Yes.
Yes. They already know what our journey is sort of about, and our patterns that we're going to break and our obstacles that we're going to endure and change in this life. So they already know what this ride is about. So you can let go of guilt on that side. Okay. And that your children knew that you were going to go on this journey of enlightenment, of awakening. They knew that already.
That's true.
Okay, the twists and turns. And then with your oldest, part of that.
Oh, fuck. Gotta wait for it to come back. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. Oh. Maybe it recorded okay. I'm just talking.
It's not functioning. Yeah, we froze like 4 times. I hope it.
I don't know. We're just gonna get through it.
Every time I tap the screen because it freezes. Okay, that's
well, stop it then.
No. I mean, when it freezes, I tap it.
Okay. Just hit it. That's usually how I fix things. I hit them.
Yeah. So that's part of your oldest is to help. He came in to volunteer to be one of these kids that is coming in with these higher energies, saying, public schools are not working for me. So we need to make some changes. So he's like the pioneer.
Sarah knows about
Adam
the boy.
was.
Yes, Adam too. There's
Adam went through
a lot of ways, except Adam's out there and Josh is in here. But yeah, different kids.
But with the ADD and self-esteem is huge. Is huge for kids at any age, but so between all the way up through their teenage, where their peer pressure and all that. So self-esteem is huge for kids. Especially now, if they're not at the top of the class, if they're not that top 10% of their class,
there's too much pressure. There's too much pressure.
Yeah.
The teacher, I don't have that kind of pressure on my kids, and I have smart kids. I have straight A kids, but I'm like, just get a C. Nobody's going to give a shit later on. Don't stress about that.
True. But and I hear this quite often in sessions, and this is not to affect or upset any of the school teachers or anyone else, the listeners, but there needs to be a change-based, more of an individual program for some of these kids.
Absolutely.
They're sensitive in different areas now than they were decades back.
They put them all in the same box, and I feel like there is no box with my kids. So quit putting them in that box.
Because you've raised them not to have a box.
That's true.
You've raised them not to have a box.
They did pick a crazy mama. And you know what? I'm going to deviate again because all of the, as we're having this conversation, all of these things pop in my head and I'm crossing my fingers down here to remember. But we were talking about, 5 minutes ago about how you pay attention to your triggers and you go back into your past and you work on healing them. That is part of what ascension is. That is what healing is. But I don't know if you've watched it yet. And I'm like, I don't know how many you watch or don't watch. That's just fine. But I'm going to encourage you to watch that last video if you haven't that I did with Heather where I talked to future alien me.
Okay.
I just watch it because it's really good.
Okay.
One of the things that she said, future me, this was so cool, Sarah. She gave me an opportunity to recreate my life review. She goes, I'm going to tell you what you regretted in that life review so you don't have to do that. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that is awesome.
So what she said, and this is so me, she says I spend too much time on going back and changing things, because when I have a lesson presented to me, and I call them lessons, other people can call them just experience, just life, but I take them as a lesson and I want to grow from them. I will go so far as to find other things I will pull it out and say, what else can I learn from this one experience? Because I don't want to waste it, I want it all. And future me said I do that too much. And so I got a little clarity with Eric. I had a reading with Denise recently, and Eric said, well, you're doing everything right, but you're doing it too much. It's almost like you punish yourself and you look for more things to work through and cry about. So he recommended that, yes, you do go ahead and do what you're doing, revisit it, tear it down, recreate it, but don't spend too much time on it. I make mountains out of molehills, apparently. I'm so guilty of that. I know I am, but I'm so grateful to that tidbit that future me gave me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I get to change the whole path of me. And so now I'm like on this thing where I really want to listen to her advice, and I'm trying to not listen to it too much.
You don't have to listen to it. Listen to your video once. Just don't keep
right.
Because then that's going to be looping.
Right. Let it go. And that is a big thing of mine, is to let it go.
Allowing, just allowing, and then go on to the next. Because you and I, we want to figure that out so it doesn't happen again, but that's a control thing.
Yes. That's another thing
control
too
thing.
I'm going through. I'm like, Eric, when am I going to get through this? Eric, when am I going to heal this? When? And he's like, let it go, let it flow. You're on track. It's good. It's all good. And I do feel like that more. Do you feel a lot more about that? I know life is going to take me where I want it to go.
Yeah. I think that's part of the ascension process, is to be less rigid, less structured.
Yes, definitely.
That's just part of it. And then the ones who really fall apart in the beginning and are the ones who had very structured, and then they got flipped. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so used to living this way. Be at work at such and time. This is time I take a lunch break. This is how my kids go. This is where they're going to major in. They have everything figured out.
Yes.
And that's not what this ascension is about.
Yeah, that comes from a place of fear. I always do. Poor Lovey. I'm going to use my husband as an example again, but he likes to exert a lot of control in this family, and it's simple things. It's like he really wants to make sure the kids have eaten enough food. It's like a grandma. You go visit grandma, she just wants to That's his way of feeling safe in his world. So all of the control that people have, I believe, is because they fear. So if he felt more comfortable in his world and safe in his world, and knowing that everything will be right, and having more faith, and the biggest word right here is surrendering. Surrender, and surrender that control and surrender that fear. Then life will just go so much smoother. And I've been able to do that in a lot of ways. I know you have too. And I think losing your son, losing your child has got to be the biggest form of letting control go.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's nothing I can do. It was over in a second. So my life flipped, and it was like, oh my gosh, now what? I can take the dark side or I can take the light side. These are my two options. Yeah. And so I just felt that. I felt that connection right away. The soul connection. I mean, I always had that feeling of soul connection, but we weren't, neither one of us were into this. So we didn't understand it. We didn't understand.
Yeah.
You freeze up again.
There you are. Okay. Yeah. It was just for a second. I don't know what's going on. Come on, internet.
We're having issues with it freezing. So it was to put us each on our own journey of finding out and rebuilding our own life and creating our own reality the way that we allow more source to flow through us.
Yes.
Because we are our worst enemy. We're the ones that self-sabotage in our thoughts. We create our own obstacles because we want it a certain way. We have our expectations way up here because many of us were raised that way. You do this at this age, X, Y, Z, all the way up.
I know.
And then you save money for a house, and then you worry about your house payment. It's all that. It's just a continuous loop, and that's not what it's about.
And it's so
That's not what it's about.
conventional. We think in such a conventional way because that's the way they did it. That's the way they did it. We're
Sure.
going to make shit up. You're doing grief differently, and I'm doing all kinds of things.
You do a little bit of everything differently.
Yes. And you know what? When I started this, this show today, I made a little blip at the beginning saying that I'm just assuming that everybody already knows who I am because, it's just going to happen. People are going to watch this because they watched the other one. So I'm also just assuming that everybody knows who my friend Sara is. But just in case you don't, Sara and I met through channeling Eric. Eric Meadows is part of my soul group. He hornswoggled me into this whole thing. And Sara's journey, well, I'm just going to say it just briefly. Sara lost her son about the same time as my shit cracked open. And so we kind of woke up and had this journey together in completely different ways. And Sara, I have to tell you something. I was getting so much advice and information from producer Eric about what I should do. And I believed that this new endeavor of mine, Silver Linings, was, I know it is. I know it's a way for me to get myself out there and propel me and claim my power. So I thought that my first episode needed to be just me. And I really wasn't sure. I was a little nervous about that. But, it's that thing that I say, you still grab onto it. You still do it. You're a little bit fearful, but my gut still told me that I'm going to do this. So I kept getting advice from Eric. And you know what he said to me? He said, well, for your first show, you need to get someone real good, someone really popular that everybody likes. You need to have Sara on your show. So I've been saving that little tidbit for you.
I'm in the popular group. Yay!
You're one of the most popular kids in the whole school. On the whole internet. So I wanted to give you those props.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet of Eric to say that.
Yeah.
Yay. Aw. And it's so exciting that you're starting this journey, Silver Linings. And you've been looking for silver linings since I've met you. You really have.
Well, yeah, that was my name. I named myself that years before I started any of this. And the reason I do that is because I like to find the dark. I like to find the light behind the dark. I don't like to waste anything shitty. I want to find some good in it. I want to feel good about it. So that's kind of become my theme.
Right. And so in honor of this being your first episode of Silver Linings, Adam and I bought you something.
Oh, yay! What is it? That's going up there. Oh, you're going to make me cry.
So here I was. I said,
stripes.
Yes. So that's the fun part. So it's like, the viewers will know we're on this black and white kick. We have been since we left for Denver, but it's made full circle. There's a long story behind it that I posted in my group. And oh my, so I'm looking and said, I'm going to get her a clapper for her first episode so she can have it. And so I thought, I'll just go to Party City and get one of the cheesy cardboard ones, right? And then Adam goes, no, you need a better quality one. So I go to Amazon, of course, free, shipping. I go to Amazon and, it shows the best one always at the top, the best dealer. I said, oh, let's get that. And he goes, no, keep looking. I scroll down. There's the yellow one, which I've never seen before. And I go, well, that really won't go with her room, but okay, I'll do it.
You have to do it.
So it's a real professional one.
It is. Hold it up again. Let me see. Take two for me. Oh, that's so cool, Sara. I'm going to use it for every show. I'm going to write the episode name, the guest. I'm so using that. And there's a story about that particular clapper I put online. This woman drew a little charm out of a bag, and that's the charm she drew. And it was in response to me wondering from spirit if I'm doing the right thing by blabbing all my personal stories all the time. And the message was to not edit out parts of your life. Keep the whole thing in the film. So everybody get my secret.
There you go. All the shits.
And the giggles. So one day, we'll have you back on and we'll talk about manifesting, because we'll talk about the stripes, even though many people know, but we're going to talk about it anyway. The yellow.
The yellow, everything. That's right. And it's just so much fun, because then the mountain that you've made out of your molehill is manifested things that you want.
I know. See, Sarah's good. You got to change your manifesting from colors to maybe some green.
I do. I find coins and change all the time.
But no, we don't want coins. We're going.
Yeah, I know. I need to up the ante.
Right, me too. Okay, so Sarah and I have an unusual friendship. We are so easy with each other. We're so funny and silly, and we are an odd couple. And I mean, we go together so well, but you're so sweet and innocent. I am not. Actually, I really am. I just don't talk like I am. So we do like to have some silly stuff. If you've seen our other videos, go peek at them. They'll be on the same channel. And you'll see that we like to do a little challenge. So this time we're doing another.
We're still kids at heart.
Big time. Yeah, I'll share that one life real quick. When we did Shiny in LA, Allison, I love what she does. She goes around the room and connects everybody through a past life. Mm-hmm. And the one that she gave to Sarah and I and me was that, I don't know when, 100 years ago, who knows. We were young girls. I think we were sisters. We were like little Heidis with blonde berets rolling around in the hills are alive with the sound of music. And there was a big avalanche. And the snow came down and crushed our entire village and killed everyone. It sounds terrible, but the reality is that we got to just have this sweet little life as bestie little girls, and then we died and went back home. So there's no balance between us. And I think we're still in that place of being silly.
We're still in that place of being.
Tap your phone. You froze again. Okay. Be patient. Okay, you're back.
Okay,
you're back.
Yeah.
We better get.
That's like the 5th time. Yeah.
I know, but they're just little ones, so it's okay.
Well, we're
gonna get through it anyway.
Yeah,
okay.
But we have the clapper.
Take 7.
The clapper. You got the clap.
Clap on. Okay, are you ready for this? Okay, everybody knows I've been dieting. I've been fucking dieting. I lost over.
Yeah, you've done awesome.
Well, I put about 4 on because I quit dieting. But it's okay. I'm monitoring it, and I'm cool with that. I'm going to start back up in January when all the diet food goes on sale.
That's right.
Break, 8 months. So I'm going. Okay, you ready? We are going to do the marshmallow challenge, and we're going to see how many marshmallows we can shove into our mouth without swallowing. Usually I like to swallow, but this time I. Marshmallows are just
seems like this come up in our other videos too.
With swallowing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I don't know if this is being timed or not. I'm going to set my timer on my phone just in case. I don't know.
We're going to do it at the same time, right? We're going to do it at the same time.
Yeah, we're just going to shove. Try to count. If not, we'll have to count.
Well, count out like 8, so then we'll know how to backtrack. Put 8 out on your table.
1, 2, 3.
So we have 8.
Okay. If I have to.
And we're going to shove them in. So we're going to shove them in as many as we can until they start to fall out. Is that our goal?
I guess. We don't have an end, but I'm going to win. I'm going to so win. Fuck you, pros again. Well, I'm going to win by default then. Okay, as soon as you come back, we're going to start shoving marshmallows in. I wonder how the recording will come out with all this fuck up. Get your clapper.
There you did. Okay. And so you froze up again just for a few seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Okay, on our marks, get set, eat. So, we froze again. I'm still going. Oh, I hate marshmallows.
That.
4.
Okay.
Oh, God, that was disgusting.
I like marshmallows though.
I hate marshmallows. My grandma used to keep them under her pillow, and she said they're good for you because they were fat-free. She eat them all night
They
long.
remind me of fudge and Rice Krispie treats. So that's a good childhood, comfort food.
Maybe I need to recreate my dislike.
It's that. I'll have to make you some.
That was so gross, but I am the victor.
You did. I hope that turned out because you froze up again during it.
I had all this shoved in my mouth. Yuck!
Yeah, it's yuck. Just pure sugar and fake stuff.
Well, I do enjoy a good chemical.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed it.
Sarah.
I know we had some glitches, but that's okay.
It's okay. It wouldn't be
right.
a show with me without it. All right, so I'm going to try to edit. I have like 4 videos I got to stick together somehow. That's going to be a challenge in itself. But in the meantime, let's hang up and go meet at that regular parking lot we meet at, and I'm taking you out to brunch.
Oh, yay.
Yay!
That sounds awesome. Woohoo!
All right, I'll see you soon, Sarah Panera. Thank you so much.
You.
I love you. Mwah. Bye.
Good luck on your new endeavor.
Oh, no problem. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.